Emma pulled out her credit card and sighed. This was the third time she was at the supermarket this week, and just like the other 2 times, the bill was a lot more than she expected. She looked over the items in her cart, but there wasn't anything she wanted to leave behind. Just as she was waiting for the cashier to process her payment, she looked over at the other checkout counter beside her. Her neighbor Sophia, who lived a couple houses down the street, was also in line to pay for groceries. Emma was surprised by how much Sophia had bought. Even more unexpected was that she paid it all in cash, which was different than Emma's approach to always using a credit card. Emma never thought of Sophia as someone who had a large income. After all, they all lived on the same block, and Emma's car was both nicer and newer than Sophia's. What was her secret to paying for all those groceries in cash? Emma had to find out, so she quickly grabbed her bags and rushed towards the exit to strike up a conversation. After saying hello, she asked Sophia how she could buy what seemed to be 2 weeks' worth of groceries without using a credit card. Sophia was more than happy to share her secret to avoiding debt. She told Emma that she had a budget, and every month she knew how much she could spend on food and other household goods. Moreover, she preferred to pay in cash because that helped her stay within the allocated budget. She went on to add that once in a while, she would buy something that she liked that wasn't in the budget, but even then, she still made sure it was within her means, and that she didn't have to borrow money to make the purchase. Inspired by this, Emma went home to think about Sophia's advice and how she too could adopt the 5 habits of people who stay debt-free. Habit 1. They track their spending and eliminate unnecessary expenses. By looking at all the things she bought, Emma noticed that she didn't actually need a lot of them. She only desired them because she saw other people do the same thing. Suddenly, she started to regret spending all that money. Right at that moment, she decided to start budgeting for her monthly expenses, just like Sophia, so that she could stick to buying just what she needed. But how would she identify her necessities? Grabbing a pen and paper, she walked to the pantry, writing down everything she typically uses on a weekly and monthly basis. Then, she did the same in all the other rooms of her house. Once she had a complete list, she sat down and categorized each item in order of priority. She removed anything she felt she could do without, even if it was only for a few months. Now, she had a narrowed-down list of expenses to follow, and would be able to see where her money was going. She also chose to keep all her receipts to track her spending at the end of the month and see where she still needed to cut down. Habit 2. They live below their means while focusing on expanding their means. Now it was clear to Emma that she had been living well above her means, and that she couldn't maintain her old lifestyle if it were not for credit cards. This was despite having a considerable raise in the last year at work. The problem was that she had been increasing her expenses to match her higher level of pay. After pondering a solution for a while, she figured that the only way to stop depending on debt and eventually become debt-free was to live off less than she earns while looking for ways to make more. So she decided that in addition to sticking to a household budget, she would cut down dinner outings from 6 to 10 times a month to just 3 times. She would also have just 1 or 2 nights out a month for some fun. As for ordering takeout, she would cut that out completely. Since Emma had weekends off, she decided to try her hand at online tutoring to earn some extra cash. She had been tutoring on the side while in college, but stopped when she got employed full-time. With more income and fewer expenses, Emma could finally start going after her financial goals, which included saving and investing for retirement. Habit 3. They create an emergency fund to cover 3 to 6 months of living expenses. Just as Emma was feeling good about her new direction, she got a call from her friend, Judy, who she had stayed in touch with since high school. Judy wanted to know if Emma had some extra space to store a few things for her while she was temporarily moving back in with her parents. Judy had been unexpectedly laid off from work and needed some time to get back on her feet. This made Emma think about her own situation. She only had about a month's worth of living expenses in her savings account, and she still had about 2 weeks to go until the next payday. What if she lost her job as well? What if her car or a major appliance broke down with an expensive repair bill? Since she had cut down her expenses, she decided that before investing for retirement, she would first build an emergency fund that could keep her afloat for at least 3 months. Habit 4. They avoid financing their purchases whenever possible. and pay their credit card bill in full each month to avoid interest charges. Even with her new plan on paper, Emma still had credit card debt that she had accumulated over many months. She remembered that Sophia told her she always bought things with the cash she had, and unless absolutely necessary, would not purchase on credit. On the other hand, Emma always paid with her credit cards, and during the last couple of months would only pay the minimum balance at the end of the month, letting the rest roll over to the next month. The interest payments were getting bigger, so Emma resolved that she would only buy things she could genuinely afford while paying off her current debts. This way, her debt would stop ballooning, and her interest payments would start to decrease. She realized that if she stuck to everything on her plan thus far, she could clear her debt in about 5 months. And when it came to big purchases, she would save up for them over time, and buy only when she had enough money. Habit 5. They ask 4 important questions before they make a purchase. So far, Emma was happy with her new financial plan. The only work left was to stay disciplined and consistent. Satisfied and proud of herself, she sat back to catch up on the latest posts on her social media feed. A couple of posts down, an ad for some new summer outfits popped up. She remembered she had checked out some dresses the previous night, but had fallen asleep before she could buy them. Instinctively, she clicked on the ad and proceeded to pick a couple of pieces and added them to her cart. Then, it suddenly dawned on her. She was about to spend spontaneously, and she wasn't sure whether buying the dresses was currently a good financial decision or not. What she needed was a foolproof way to scrutinize every purchase before opening her wallet. After some quick research, she came up with 4 key questions she could ask herself before spending money on anything outside of her primary bills. 1. Am I buying this because I want it or because I need it? 2. If I make the purchase, will it solve a problem I have or improve my life in some way? 3. What will happen if I don't buy it? 4. Can I afford to buy it with cash? And if I use a credit card, do I have enough money in my checking account to pay the entire bill when I receive it? Now, whenever she wanted to buy something not already in her monthly budget, she only had to put it through this 4-step process to arrive at a better answer. Emma started implementing all the habits she'd learned in the following weeks. With a budget she could follow, she minimized her trips to the store, which kept temptations at bay. She also stopped paying for non-essentials with her credit card and only charged what she could afford to pay in full at the end of the month. She also opened a savings account and saved regularly from the extra money she earned through tutoring. Finally, she started analyzing each purchase instead of buying things on a whim. So, which of these 5 habits have you implemented in your own life? Are there any more that you would add? Let us and the community know down below in the comments. If you enjoyed this video and think it could help someone else, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel if you'd like to see more videos like this. See you in the next one.